I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, who doesn't love a wonderful Santa adventure? Glyn Davies and his young children 35 years ago sure did. He told them a tale that is now immortalized in a wonderful book that your children can enjoy as well, and you'll enjoy it too. It's called Santa's Disastrous Delivery. We welcome Glyn to Spotlight, and there's the book right there in his hand. We ask viewers at home or watching on YouTube to please support writers like him by subscribing to our channel. Glyn, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
No, well, thank you for hosting me. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well, sir. Let's begin with the beginning. 35 years ago, your kids that are now grown were little, and you told them this tale, or did you write it down? Tell me a little bit about the backstory.
No, it's when our eldest daughter really was I don't know, 3 or 4, and Daddy'd take them to bed or Mummy'd take them to bed, and most kids have got probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 favourite stories, and you'd always have to read them a particular story to go to bed. And there's some lovely children's stories out there, but they are written for children. And sometimes I don't wish to sort of be disrespectful to other writers, but some of them, oh dear, they're boring. and you go, oh Dad, can I have this tonight? And you think, oh no, please, not
that one again.
and I did think, and again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to other writers, but you think, oh my God, I could write better than this myself. And I was working as a truck driver at the time, working nights, and you get a lot of time to think. You get a lot of time to think on nights. And I was parked up, and just you get this basic idea in your head. And we were coming up to Christmas. That was it. We were coming up to Christmas, and I'm not sure about the States or around the world, but in the UK, the old tradition when I was young, with Christmas Eve, you would leave Santa a glass of sherry and a mince pie. And I was on nights, as I say, driving, and I thought, if Santa drank all this sherry, he must be in a hell of a state by the end of the night. And the night went on. You think, well, you can't write a children's story about a drunken Santa, but I thought it could be a complete and utter bumbling idiot, and so the idea came to mind, and the story came to fruition. But I found that as I wrote it, the story just unfolded, and it wrote itself. Which
wonderful. You've got a better tradition there in the UK than we have here in the States. In States, we leave out milk and cookies.
All right.
Except I had my kids leave out a dry martini with 2 olives. So Santa could have a little fun when he was wrapping the presents.
Yeah.
But that's the great beginning of the story. So at that point, you're dreaming about Santa having this sip of sherry, and you have this disastrous delivery idea in mind, and you start telling it to your daughter.
Yeah. They love it. To be precise, I actually wrote Trevor the Tractor first. That just came to me, which gave me the inspiration for writing Santa. But I had a lot of fun writing Santa. It still makes me giggle now when I wrote it 35 years ago. In fact, we've just released, or it's in the process of being released now. We've just had a chap doing the audio version, which hopefully will be out in another week or so. But the chap, Graham Mack, done a brilliant job of vocalising it. It's really brought it to life. But it's a lot of fun.
I'm sure it is. Tell the folks at home a little bit about the story of Santa's Disastrous Delivery.
Well, Santa's just a complete and utter bumbling idiot who's kept in line by Cupid, who's the mainstay of the reindeer. So So he's sort of, Santa's constantly getting everything wrong. You know, Cupid and Eric, his little elf helper, they're the ones that keep him in line, that keep, as he causes mayhem, they have to try and put it right. But this one particular story, it just escalates with the help of two other reindeer, who are a bit naughty, a bit mischievous, who also use their magical powers to cause even more mayhem. So as something's going on over there, they're creating more trouble over there, and it just escalates to the point where there are things that are going on. But before that, the scenario is that Santa's star will come across first. Because I was thinking, how does all this play out? Why is everybody asleep, and why has Rudolph always got a red nose? So the shooting star comes over, it sprinkles Santa's stardust over and everybody's asleep, apart from two policemen who were on the other side of the valley, who miss it all. But they stumble across Santa as he's trying to get out the house with his sack, and they think he's a burglar. So they approach him as a burglar, and Santa's such an idiot, he doesn't realise it, and he's saying, "Well, no, I'm Santa." He's saying, "Well, Eric's up on the roof." So they say, "Oh, there's two of you. I suppose Eric's up there stealing the aerial." And it just escalates, and the other two reindeer then seize on the opportunity, and the snowman comes to life, and a wooden ornamental windmill takes off, and then that's shot down by a fir tree, burst into flames. The police car is completely trashed by Santa trying to help. Doors fall off and headlights fall off. The snowman comes to life, who steals the police car, who eventually brings it back, which is when Santa then, trying to make things right, makes things even worse. In the meantime, things are going on the roof. Two naughty reindeer then send the snowman off, who ventures into the tool shed, who then steals the ride-on lawnmower and tears off in that. So yeah, it's just mayhem, absolute mayhem.
It's a great adventure. In many ways, it's almost more appealing to the parents who are reading it than to the kids, because the parents can really picture this disaster, and they realize that if this guy's walking around with a long white beard and a red cap and a very red nose, he might like to hit the bottle a little bit, right?
Yeah. I wrote it to entertain me and to entertain the parents and the grandparents, because parents all over the world must go through the same scenario. Think, oh no, not that book again tonight.
Exactly. Exactly. I used to make up stories for my children as well, not as imaginative as yours, but it did make that storytelling process a whole lot more fun when you had to think and create, as opposed to reading what somebody else had read or had written rather, and might not be that interesting at all. But you've really written a wonderful, wonderful book there. How many children's books have you written in all? Actually produced and printed just the two. So right. Trevor the Tractor was the first one. That's out on Amazon, and that then led me to Santa. Yeah. But I've got another book, or I started years ago, called Grumps. Mm-hmm. That's a totally different story altogether. So I think with the reaction I've got from these, and now I know the whys and wherefores, I think Grumps will have to come out and be finished. Sounds great. You know, I could see Santa's Disastrous Delivery clearly as a movie or a TV show, maybe animated. Have you thought about that at all?
Oh, blimey, yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm biased because I wrote it, but I think it would make, I think it would make a brilliant animated film or a cartoon. And I've had lots of people of our age, everybody from 8 to 80 that have read it, and they all. It sounds very big-headed for me to sit here saying this, but they all enjoy it, and it makes it gives me a real thrill just to see other people smile.
Absolutely. It's nice to create something that others enjoy, right?
Yeah, yeah. And
Absolutely. Absolutely. Have you thought about who you'd cast as Santa?
oh, yeah, yeah, I have actually. I thought Brian Blessed would be a brilliant Santa.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. I'm not sure about the other people. There's some wonderful people out, people far more qualified than me to say, well, he would be better at this.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Or there might be an unknown actor out there or somebody
Yeah.
who could play the role.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I also think it's kind of interesting. It's sort of like the story of life. You know, when we work our jobs, you've got the boss or the CEO who gets all the credit. And you know, it's really us, the elves and the reindeer, who are doing all the work, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And the boss can be a real bumbler. You know, the CEO of most of these companies, you know, I'm sure the CEO of Apple couldn't change the battery in my iPhone, right?
yeah, yeah. Or work with lots of people like that. You could paper the room with the qualifications, but you know they
Exactly. They
can't,
paper the room with the
yeah,
qualifications, but they're actually in real life qualified to do nothing, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Tell me a little bit about Trevor the tractor.
Trevor the Tractor. I actually wrote Trevor again, going back to Chloe when she was little and writing a better children's book. Again, I was driving, working as a truck driver on nights, and I'd only left the yard about an hour, and the truck broke down. The engine started making some terrible noises, so I pulled up, rang the cavalry to come out and get me, and they said, "Oh, it'll be a couple of hours." So I thought, well, can't do anything, so sat there bumbling. And I'd had this idea in the head, so I just grabbed my clipboard and thought, right, we'll make a start. And I wrote the first sentence, and it just wrote itself. And by the time the breakdown truck arrived, I'd written it, and yeah, that's well, that makes me chuckle. But that's the story of, he's the biggest, toughest tractor in the showroom. This one's actually a author's copy, so it's got not for resale on it.
Gotcha. Yeah,
and
it's wonderful. Did you work with the same artist who did the illustrations for both? Tell me how that worked.
The artwork is actually my brother.
Really?
Yeah, he's a commercial artist, illustrator. But he's always been too busy. He's illustrated lots and lots of children's books, well-known books. But he's always been busy. But like him now, he's retired like me, so he had a bit more time on his hands. And yeah, he did those for me.
Yeah, they're beautiful. They look great. Yeah, that caught my eye right away when I first looked at the book.
Yeah. So yeah, thrilled with that. So that was a big headache out of the way.
What's Chloe's reaction been that her childhood story is now, in print?
Oh, they love it. Yeah, they're all thrilled. In fact, Chloe's now got two girls, 8 and 13. Yeah, they love it. In fact, Brooke, the youngest one, I gave her both to take to school. So they're in the local school library now. So that's quite a thrill. I was pleased with that.
That's got to feel great. That feels great. And then the third book that you've kind of gotten written, I don't know if on paper or in your head, you call it Grump?
Grumps. It's
Grumps.
short
Like
for
grumpy
grumpy.
people?
Sorry?
Like grumpy people?
Yeah.
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 Tell me about the story of Grumps.
Well, it's only sort of half written. He's in the UK we call him a lollipop man. Wears a white coat. You probably have similar things in the States where the kids cross the road to go to school. He'll walk out with a big lollipop stick, stand in the road to stop the traffic.
Yeah, we call them crossing guards here.
Yeah, right. They're called lollipop men in the.
That's much more creative, much better, and I'm going to use that for now on for sure. Because they're also so strict. I mean, I crawl through a school zone, and still they can't wait to blow their whistle and hold up that giant lollipop. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Grumps is he's an old crotchety old grumpy person. Loves kids, hates everybody else, and if anybody upsets him, he's got a little black book that you go in his black book, and he terrifies the town. So it's all about the adventures of what he gets up to and how he seeks revenge on the people that cross him. But that's work in progress at the minute.
Sounds wonderful. You know what I think you need to write? I think you need to write an unauthorized biography of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And I think you should have your brother illustrate it.
Yeah.
And it should be a little bit like Santa's Disastrous Delivery, but it should be King Charles' crazy coronation. Do you think I'm onto something there? What do you think?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's food for thought there. Yeah.
What is your whole take on the whole, since you're there in the UK, I know you've got a pipeline to the castle. Tell me a little bit about what your take is on all of the craziness that's transpired lately, particularly with Harry and Meghan and the King and all of that.
Oh, it's what we would call a pantomime. I don't think you have pantomimes in the States, do you? Or you've heard of them?
Well, a pantomime here is where a person does physical comedy or action without speaking.
Oh right. Oh no, we're very vocal, and it's very flamboyant and just completely ridiculous. So I think it would make a fantastic pantomime. It's just we just sit there. What could we get a lot of it on the news over here, and you like that thing. Oh my God! What on earth has it said this time, or what are they going to do about this, or we from our point of view, we say, well, considering they wanted to come over to the States because they made such a big thing here about we want a quiet life, we want to move away out of the limelight, and they've done exactly the opposite.
Exactly.
It's just relentless here. I'm not sure how much you get, but
it's unbelievable here. We've got Netflix specials and books and TV interviews, and all they want is their privacy, but they keep on creating TV shows and writing books.
Yeah.
So I don't quite understand it. It's pretty funny. It's can you imagine if you wrote a book about every time your brother pushed you or you pushed him?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it would be like an encyclopedia if we wrote every little transgression in my family's life, right?
Oh, it does come across as really childish.
Yeah.
Sort of playground, school playground stuff.
Exactly.
What on earth can they drag up next?
I know.
Oh, yeah.
I know. It's amazing. And if that's the best he's got, after living, 40 years or whatever, and those are the only complaints he has, I'd say he has it pretty good, right?
Oh my God, yeah. Oh,
Amazing.
having said that, for all their wealth and privilege in that, I wouldn't trade places with any of them personally. Yeah. I just like the privacy and just think, I'll go down the pub where you couldn't go down there, could you? There'd be there'd be Secret Service and MI5 and everybody all around the table. But yeah.
Exactly. I think they're more like court jesters at this point rather than.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what they're like. So now, how long have you been retired now?
Oh, crikey, 6 years.
How many years?
Still working.
Are you still working? Okay, I thought you were.
Yeah. I'm a full-time workaholic.
Well, that's good. You know what? Being retired is overrated.
Oh yeah. Well, I keep saying I can't wait to retire to find out what it's like.
And then you'll be bored and want to work again.
Oh, blimey! I've got an old MGB GT I'm trying to restore. I've got a motorbike in the garage I'm trying to do. I've got fishing kit. I've got golf kit. Member of other clubs, and don't get time to do any of it.
Right, but when you do, you're going to have the perfect retirement because you'll have the sports car, you'll have the golf clubs, you'll have everything ready to go, right?
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Who first reads? I know you wrote these books for your children, but Tractor the Trevor, did you test that out on your kids first? How did that work?
Trevor the Tractor, yeah.
Trevor the Tractor.
He was the first one that came along. Yeah, they loved it, and Chloe's two kids now. They read it. They say they've taken it to school. So yeah, but I'm more proud of Santa. Santa's a bit more ridiculous, bit more of me.
Right. He's a bigger character, Santa, to begin with, right?
Well, I got once I'd written Trevor, you then get into the mindset of
right.
How ridiculous can you make things be, and it just seemed that the more stupid, the more outlandish things I thought of, the better the story became, and that led on to something else. I have started writing the sequel to Disastrous Delivery.
Great.
That might be a while yet, but yes, I've already come up with some ridiculous storylines.
Sounds good. What's the premise on Santa's sequel?
It's Santa's homecoming after he's done all his deliveries, and it's actually going back home. Yes, and the May is still as big a bumbling idiot at home as he is right on the sleigh. So yes, the mayhem continues.
Sounds great. Are there any Christmas movies that you enjoy, like Santa Claus or Elf or any of those comedies that you like?
Oh yeah. I'm a big kid at heart. Yeah, I love all that sort of thing. And just little things will go into the memory, and you think, oh, I can remember, I can use that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's good. Yeah, I love anything like that.
Well, I think that's the secret to being a great writer or a great actor, is to never let go of that little kid in you, because that little kid had no limitations, didn't shut down ideas, was completely creative. And if you can survive school without a little bit of creativity left in you, I think you've accomplished a lot, right?
Oh yeah, very much so. Yeah.
I have to ask you, since Santa's Disastrous Delivery is kind of on like that outrageous, I would say British humor type of stuff. Were you a big fan of Monty Python?
Oh, huge. Yeah. So you can watch it back now, and well, you wouldn't get away with a lot of it now, unfortunately. But it was real cutting edge, really silly humor at the time.
Yeah, my favorite always was the Institute of Silly Walks.
Yeah.
That, and I used to imitate the silly walks all the time. And then, of course, I guess it's from the movie Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where the knight has the sword and he keeps on losing an arm, losing the other arm, loses a leg, and
brilliant.
At the end, he's like, I can still bite you to death or something like that.
Come back up, bite your kneecaps.
Exactly. And what are you watching these days on TV? Are there any series that have captured your imagination? You got any? I love the BBC series. I watch a lot of them,
Yeah, like I like a lot of the drama stuff. I think it is important to try and watch some serious stuff at your age, you know, but there is some good stuff on there. But there was a, I don't know if you can go back and find it. There was a Rick Mail and oh dear, what was his name? They call it was a series called Bottom. Just ridiculous slapstick humor. Really funny if you can find it.
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
That's my sort of humor. That's my sort of program. Well, I like anything daft.
Well, that's always a good quality. I knew I connected with you because I like anything daft as well, for sure. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your writing. So is it always inspiration, like you get this idea and it comes very quickly, or is it something that you sometimes work out over a couple of days or a couple of weeks or something?
I found that I'll think of an idea like the original idea that if Santa drank all the sherry, he'd be in a hell of a state, and you just get this picture in your mind of a situation, and it tends to grow from there. Yeah. And I'll come up with other daft ideas, all the daft things will just come into my mind, and you think, oh well, I'll keep that, and I'll put that over there. And I'll put that bit over there, and then eventually you sit down and you try and weave them all into a story, which is well how these two have worked and how Grumps is working at the minute. But I haven't quite got to the point where come 4 o'clock every day I think, right, I've got to sit down and write. I find I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and something will come to my mind. So you think, I must try and remember that in the morning, because I'm not one of these ones that'll put the light on and then start scribbling down. Because if I do that, I'll be awake till 5 o'clock in the morning if I do that.
Absolutely. Well, you're doing a masterful job. I loved Santa's Disastrous Delivery. It's written by Glyn Davies. It's available online. And your kids are going to love it. You're going to love reading it. You're going to understand things that your kids won't. It's really a hoot. It's really a good time. Highly recommended. You need a good book at Christmas time. I mean, this would even work over July 4th weekend. It's that entertaining. Santa Claus is good year round, particularly the way Glyn spins his tale. Glyn, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
No, thank you for talking to me. I really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a lot of fun. You're a funny guy. I think you should have your own TV show. Maybe that's in the works. You never know. All right. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time. This time, until next time on Spotlight.